Hello guys, Inslayerclone here, and another video at 12:42 p.m. at night. You know, anyway, I guess that's what it is and stuff. It's 9:42 p.m. and you know, just here sitting on the bench. You know, going afterwards. I'm gonna buy something to eat. Well, I don't know yet. I don't know if I'm going to eat actually. And maybe I will eat. No, it's a Friday night at the end of the day. I may be like, an incel, whatever, because, I am technically, you know. Like I said, my life as a 26-year-old incel video will be next month. It won't be this month. So that's what it is. So I'm not going to be like Eric July, by the way. I'm not going to continue to say what it is like he does. I've said it more than him now. So anyway, today I want to talk about removing, well, it's not really about removing all distractions. It's more about, I'm not talking about me and you per se in this channel because I can just regurgitate it. But if you guys don't probably know, I've been actually really like um losing weight and gym. I'm not that fat per se. I kind of used to walk around. I mean, I don't know when it maybe my outside videos and stuff when I walked around, I did lose a lot of weight, but I would actually eat horrible foods while doing these videos. Like I would eat like chicken and fried chicken or something. So yeah, I might have been walking around losing eating chicken, but I'm still not really losing the weight. It's not that I was not fat per se, but I was still living an unhealthy, unsatisfactory type, unsatis, unsatisfactory lifestyle. I've not really like you're right. I'm going to stop eating fast food. Well, I know it's not like you shouldn't eat fast food. It's just that you need to count the calories and stuff. No, because you can eat like chicken, you can eat like all that stuff. You know what I mean to say that you know I'm gonna watch what I eat now. I'm gonna measure what I eat and stuff instead of just eating because I'm outside. I'm 26 or younger. You could be younger and stuff. But it's like we live in these like it's still blue pill mindset if you think about it. You know yeah, I might have a black pill mind and intelligent, but my eating habit is still blue pill. We have to understand that, you know. So, and I guess that's what I want to talk about. I guess that's what I want to say. Or the fox are fighting again for food again, But anyway, so I guess the video or the video today, I guess is about food. Your food is blue pilled as well, because a lot of people, it's still yeah. You could be like red pilled on women's, black pilled on women's, or red pill or black pill on society. But the food that you eat, most people are still blue pilled. Right? We still have like it's either what you call it, nostalgia. We're not willing to let go of our lifestyle. And food is another thing that we need to let go because food reminds us of the past. In some form when you eat McDonald's, what does that remind you of? When you was a child, went to McDonald's, had the Big Mac. You're still you're still like ruminating on those fantastic experiences when you had as a child or a teenager, or it don't even need to be a child, just where you used to be with socializing with blue pillars and stuff like that. And food can actually simulate those emotions like you used to have, right? You know, in the UK we have chicken shop culture. I think in other countries as well, in America as well, and other countries like Germany, France. But let's just say in the UK we have a distinctive chicken shop. It's like a tradition. Now it's not just fish and chips anymore. Street underground street food. I guess is chicken shops in the UK and stuff. But when I was like, 16, 15, 16, 17 and stuff, you know, I used to go to the chicken shop with my once I finished school, we used to go to the chicken shop, you know, and I would get like, four pieces of chips and stuff and or whatever I want that day. One of my friends, it's his sixth form, right? He would get like 12 piece with with chips, you know. And this is one of the main factors, the reason why I still go to the chicken shop, because maybe I don't see it from a logical perspective, but deep down psychologically, I still want those connections, right? We still do these things for a reason, these behaviors for a reason, you know. Understanding those behaviors, saying it out loud, that's the reason why you're doing these behaviors and stuff, is for a reason. I'm not just going to go to chicken shop because I want chickens, because I want to live out a fantasy that I used to have as a child or a teenager, you know, or a young person, you know. And well, I'm still young, but you know what I mean. Like, in those times where you didn't really have to think about, a lot of stuff as of compared to now, where you have to think about, you know, taxes and all that stuff and trying to chase the system. As a teenager, you can just let your hair loose and stuff and just enjoy yourself. And in that capacity, I don't know what you call enjoying going to clubbing and parties and stuff. I understand the value of parties and drinking and all that stuff because, you know, but what's the call it? What am I saying about the situation? Is that pretty much what I'm trying to say? You know, that I still have an emotional attachment to a chicken shop because of those experiences that I had as a child. You know, same thing with McDonald's, same thing with Pizza Hut. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be like, you know like anything, but it's like you have to recognize it. That's the first step to understanding, you know, is to recognize the problem as it is, you know, because the actuality and stuff, it's not because you don't like chicken or like Big Macs or whatever. It's that you still have you still having a fantasy in your head. You're still ruminating of those experiences, and it could be for any food and stuff. It doesn't have to be for McDonald's or KFC or whatever street food or urban food or even home food. You know, like it's probably your grandma used to cook this. My grandma's not alive anymore, but she used to cook this food that I like. You know, I can't really experience that food anymore because I didn't really learn it from them, and you know, I can learn it from somewhere else, but it's not going to be like my my grandma's version. You know, so that's pretty much what I'm trying to say and stuff. And and I think people need to understand that, of course, not everything lives forever and stuff. Everything has an end point to it. Just like I said, my grandma's food had an end point to it. Nothing lives forever and stuff. You know, but also you need to keep things in moderation as well. You need to understand that maybe the reason why I'm doing this because of emotional reasons, not actually because I enjoy eating this. You know, maybe that's another reason. When my grandma was alive and stuff, she used to eat a lot of sugar, salt, you know, when she was alive. But she's not alive anymore. I still eat quite a lot of salt in my food. We understand, need to recognize the reason why I'm doing that. Well, it's because of emotional legacy and stuff that's installed in my mind, you know. So yeah, but what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to get towards that people need to understand in the future and stuff. Not everyone needs to take this advice as it is, but understanding the food also you eat is blue pilled, right? If you're consuming what they want you to consume, that's blue pilled. You see on the television, right? They're advertising all these foods on the television. Why? because they want you to consume this and subconsciously, you know, when you see McDonald's or KFC ads on the television, they want you to consume that. I'm not saying you shouldn't consume it, but you need to recognize that it's government and government hand once you consume it. However, I'm not like against censorship and stuff like Jamie Oliver is. I mean, Jamie Oliver put the sugar taxes and stuff, and now everything doesn't really taste as nice as it is, which is some people might say is positive, but it's also negative because you have these problems and stuff because some people you know say that it's for the children and stuff that we're doing this. Now everyone can't enjoy the foods that they are because some people can't you know control themselves in a moderate manner. And it's not really about control, really. It's all about reading stuff that they're using this as an excuse and stuff. The British government uses everything as an excuse, you know, and that's one of the reasons. I mean, it's funny that they did this because, oh well, sugar tax law and stuff because people are getting obese in this country and stuff. Well, I mean, isn't that a good thing that people can eat as much food as they want in this country, right? In Britain, in some countries, they're starving over there, right? In Congo and stuff, in South Sudan, in the other places around the world, in Vietnam. Well, maybe not in Vietnam. They have a different type of diet, but they're pretty skinny over there in Vietnam. They're not obese, you know, like we are. But the fact is, it's not. I'm not saying people should eat what they want to eat. I'm not saying we should ban certain foods because it's dangerous to children's. I mean, America, they have these problems and stuff. But majority of the people that are eating all this food anyway are on like welfare. They're not really working at. I mean, they are working, but they're not the contributors of the society in America. You know, and like I said before, we live in this era of social media of gym physiques and stuff. So even if people are getting obese, they're gonna see Aziz video pop up, right, or some other guy saying going to the gym, and maybe some people, couple thousand people, will go see that video. Oh, I'm gonna go hit the gym. Some obese person, I'm gonna hit the gym, and they start losing weight. So it really was. It was not. There was no reason to bring in the sugar tax law in the first place. You know, there's no reason to do that. You know, but in the UK, I mean, the government decides everything in the UK, right? Because the UK is not a free country, as you guys know. You know, so that's pretty much my stance on obesity. You know, if people want to change, they will change. If they don't want to change, well, let them be as they are. Eventually, time is gonna come, and they're gonna regret it. You know, and people also talk about the general population, like the average person. Well, the average person, they're not really they're not really worth to be pondered, not pondered on. The average person doesn't they're not really thinking at all. They're not really thinking about these things like I'm thinking about. That maybe a reason why I eat KFC or McDonald's or whatever is because of emotional attachment, right? Because I've not healed up. I've not gone to dark places in my past, or whatever it is. They're not really thinking about it. So, oh, I'm just gonna eat McDonald's today, you know. But yeah, I guess that's what it is and stuff. It's kind of funny as well. The other thing people like to talk about, you know, um, adult content creators, that they're showing a unrealistic body standard, but that's their job, right? To do intimate activities on camera. So they have to look as best possible. More, I mean, majority of them don't look like that, of course, but but for the most part, that's like it's like no, it's no like if you want to have to get the gig and stuff, you're probably gonna have to look the best looking. And many of these people, they're probably hitting the gym every day, many of these adult creators, especially like the females and the males, it's been females particularly. Maybe they still do that, but they're not like their main eye candy, of course, unless it's a male targeted video, I guess. The females are the main eye candy, so they're probably going to be hitting the gym every day. Like, Bonnie Blue, you know, she's probably hitting the gym all day. Every day she's probably hitting the gym while after finishing the freak off sessions, you know. But, people watching, but people will go after those people. But instead of self-analyze the entire existence as it is, and then there's what they've done wrong. I do that, you know. I self-analyze all the time. I mean, I'm still self-analyzing. I'm still looking of ways to fix my life out. There's a lot of things I need to fix in my life that needs to be fixed, and all will be achieved. All will be achieved. But yeah, I know this video's kind of gone like kind of haywire, I guess. But it all really comes back to it that what you eat is also a sign of weakness and blue pillowism. You know, we all have a choice at the end of the day, guys. No matter how you want of it, it's like you consume Netflix. I don't consume Netflix, not really and stuff. I mean, I borrow the family Netflix and stuff if I really want to watch something. If I truly don't want to watch it on the television, I just go on the internet and stuff and go on the black flag websites, and watch something. But it's nothing really there to watch for me. There's some that I would like to watch, some films and movies and stuff, but nothing really modern. It's all like old from the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s or some indie movie that no one even knows about. You know. So yeah, we just have to be really truly. We just have to be understanding what it is and stuff. And I shouldn't say what it is, but you need to understand that what you consume can be considered blue pilled, red pilled, or black pilled. I think actually Grogus, the guy, he eats raw meat and stuff. I'm not eating raw meat right now and stuff. And maybe in the future I'll start eating raw meat. But Grogus actually made a black pill video about the food diet as well. He made a video about is why people look a certain way, And I honestly believe now, that food is also a prime factor of how you would be judged in the future and stuff. If you're not consuming the right nutrients and stuff, you're gonna look a certain way in the future, you know. And I'm not. I wish I respect everyone and stuff. We love everyone and stuff, but in reality and stuff, looks is the most prime example. Aesthetics are the prime example. Your body posture is their prime example. If you're looking a certain way and stuff, you're most likely gonna suffer in life, And it's just the same with the pigeons and the same with the foxes and the lions and stuff, It's not much of a difference, But yeah, Grogus made a video about that. And he talked about, like the Dutch people, right? The Dutch used to just eat, um, cheese and stuff, milk and stuff, and that's the reason why they're tall, and they're South Sudanese as well. So these are prime factors, guys. The reason why I know the Dutch actually are declining because of the modern society and stuff. But before, like the globalization and stuff, the Dutch had their own their own diet, how everyone eats and stuff, how they eat over there, and that's the reason why they're tall and stuff. And now I guess global culture and stuff. Everyone's eating McDonald's. Everyone's eating, KFC and stuff. American foods and stuff. So everyone's eating the same food and stuff, and they're becoming fat as well. I mean, it's course in China as well. I mean, the Chinese used to be small and stuff, but now they've become global society. They're eating they're now becoming a problem over there as well. Obesity, you know. So it is what it is, guys. You have to understand that what you consume, what you eat, is gonna stay with you for the rest of your life. In some cases, especially when you're at a young age. So, if you are watching this video, I think it's the best time to start doing an audit on what you eat and what you consume and what you snack on. I, this week I haven't snacked on anything. I've not eat only snack I've snaking is a Monster Energy drink what I'm drinking now because well it only has like you know 180 calories which I probably walked it off already. No, I walked half of it off probably coming here and stuff. So that's the only snack I've snacking for the whole entire week. I've been on. I've not really been eating that much, you know, and I've been eating a lot of salads and dairies and stuff. I've been drinking milk, for my once I eat my meal. So anyway, guys, so this is all you got to say and stuff, and let me know what you think about it, if you agree with me or not. The food that you consume can be considered blue pill or black pilled. It's food is very important. It's what you consume is very important, and we need to start to understand this. That that food is very what you consume is the most important thing. I know some people, on the internet, they're eating raw meats and stuff. I'm not going to be eating raw meat as of right now. I don't plan to do that, until when I'm satisfied with my physique, you know. But in the future, I may consider that because I definitely want to look a bit more better. I want to look visually more better. It's time to upgrade. From there, upgrading stuff. But yeah, that's all you got to say and stuff. I don't really want to talk about a lot more things and stuff. But food, yeah, what you consume can be can detrimental. I think Rehab Room actually has to do a video about this. I think that's another thing that needs to be discussed about in this sector of the internet. If he is watching, which I don't think he's watching. But yeah, I think Rehab should do a video. Maybe not like right now, but in the future and stuff, because it does determine your genetics in some capacity. If you're eating like I don't know how the Indian diets are, but the Indians don't really eat like beef and stuff. So they look a certain way. The other Indians that don't really subscribe to the Sikh religion and stuff, they look totally different than the ones that subscribe to the Sikh religion. And these are for the factors because they eat beef and stuff, and the others don't eat beef. The ones that eat beef and stuff, the Indians that eat beef look totally different than the ones that don't. And these are the reasons why they look a certain way. So, but it's a very good scientific experiment. A good look to look into it, you know, because you can see the difference between Western culture and Eastern culture, especially like you see in like Southern Asia and stuff to Western Europe. You know, reason why a lot of Southern Asians are smaller because they have a very what you call it. They have a rice diet. They don't really eat meat. I'm not saying they don't eat meat, but it's not really before like maybe the colonialization. They mostly eat rice all day because they grew a lot of rice and stuff. So that's why they looked a certain way. While maybe the elites and stuff in those societies, they probably eat meat and stuff, and that's why they look like the kings and stuff, and the emperors and stuff. So then, what you call it, the upper class and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about it and subscribe.